Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update, the Lockdown Edition. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. Now, on the cards for us to talk about today, there are a few different things that I'm going to be covering, but we will get to the charts towards the end. Now, a bit of a virus update for you here. We have a number of infections that are going around the globe with more than 20,000 deaths that have occurred so far. Now, in this sort of update, we've also seen some information about flattening the curve. And if you notice on the chart behind me, which will likely come up on your screen right about now, you'll see that there are certain countries that have put in power to lock down the country very, very tightly. And they are indeed seeing a dramatic drop off on the amount of infections and are fighting it quite well. In the other instance where we're seeing the rise in infection cases tends to be in Western world countries where we have more democracy than what we do as dictatorships and or communist sort of based backgrounds. Now, in these instances in democracy, it makes it much, much harder to lock down an economy and a country purely because of the way the politics are actually driven and how we find ourselves to freedom of being able to move about our own countries and our houses. Now, from that, the WHO have actually come out. I'm not talking about this WHO, I'm talking about this WHO, being Tedros and obviously the two doctors that are involved there, mainly in the face of the WHO organization. And they have been scolding countries for their lack of involvement and for not putting down lockdowns into effect to try and curve or flatten that curve as much as possible. Namely, Australia has been one of those countries that they've not had a real good idea with because they're saying, just lock it down, get it under control, and go with it from there. Now, moving on from that, we've also had some information coming out about Trump. Yesterday, he was very firm on getting the economy kick-started again. And this was going to be looking at the idea of by the end of Easter, he was going to be rebooting the economy, getting people back to their jobs and ending lockdowns. Today, a report came out from Oxford University stating that this was in fact the infection rates, this is likely what we're going to be seeing, and a few other little things within this report that sort of ended up pointing in the fact that COVID-19 was going to cause some problems moving ahead. And if they didn't do action right now with lockdowns, then the fallout would be significantly worse for the economy in the long run. So Trump today has been a bit on the back foot from what he was saying yesterday. He's now saying he's going to be relying and taking advice from his advisors, specifically on the medical side of things, and of course from the WHO a lot more seriously. So it'll be interesting to see what he says in the upcoming days. I believe that his comments about rebooting the economy are really driven from the fact that he doesn't want China to be beating him to the punch in getting the economy restarted and becoming a little bit further ahead than what the US is right now. So I think there is a little bit of power play going on that perspective, but beyond that, it's really just business as usual to see what's going to happen in the next coming days. Now, moving on to the next piece of data that we've got for you, I've got some charts behind me to have a look at. Now, the first one I'm looking at is actually the Australian dollar. I'm showing here that I've got a head and shoulders pattern occurring around here. And I've also taken a place to trade on this for a short position with my stop loss a little bit behind. I was originally long on this based off seeing a double bottom pattern earlier in the week, but I have decided to reverse this position knowing that the long-sided move is likely going to be something that is not going to be sustained purely because it's in a downtrending market and it was a counter trend trade. So I was ready to close that at a moment's notice, and today I decided that I would, and that after seeing this pattern occurring on behind me. Now, the rest of the charts have been a little bit more quiet. Now, if you look at the dollar yen, the chart that I've got here, you can see that I've got a bit of a consolidating trend channel going on. Some people might call it a flag pattern or something along those lines. I believe this might be an opportunity for an outbreak trade. I can't say which direction it's going to go in, whether it's going to be long or short, because that's the nature of breakouts. However, my money would probably be on the long side, being that the nature of the dollar yen and the pair itself is inverted from the rest because you've got the USD in front of your base currency. So in this instance, keep an eye on what's going on. I think it's really important to consider the Japanese side of the economy, especially with the Olympics being cancelled, and of course the US side of the economy, which is a little bit hard to gauge at the moment, to be totally honest. So next we've got a look at Euro Pound, and I have a short position on this. Now this is a monthly chart that you will see. And I've taken a very long-term basis view of this. I am running it with very minimal risk. I have got a 600 pip stop loss, so my trade sizes have been brought way down. And I'm looking to make about 800 pip off it in the take profit scenario. Now, the reason I've placed it is because on a monthly chart, the time frame that we're seeing back, we haven't seen prices up at this level here since about 2005. So we will be anticipating seeing a hell of a lot more action on this, especially considering that we've got the euro and the pound both currently in lockdowns. I'm having a hard time not seeing them both sort of drop together. So I have marked it out based entirely off a technical scenario and not so much on the point of view of looking at things from that fundamental side. Now, the S&P 500, you can see, has had a bit of a rally. It looks like it's had a little bit of a recovery, so to speak. But in the long run, until this is really over, my positions are not really going to move far from being a short-sighted opinion. I believe that we are going to see a lot more action in the coming weeks, especially when we start seeing the economic fallout from COVID-19. It may even be post-recovery of COVID-19 and that we've seen that the disease has ended. But realistically, the economy side of things is going to struggle for some time to come. And I do believe that we will see the S&P 500 move further down. To me, this really just looks like a retracement. It hasn't shown any other signs to me that this is in fact a reversal of its current heading. That's all I have for you today. Now, of course, if you have any concerns, queries, or questions that you may want to get in contact with me with, feel free to send me an email at talktoal@ACY. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. And if you want to get updates on the routine from me, feel free to hit the bell button because it'll give you a notification every time a video comes out. Have a great trading day ahead.